Okay, so now we're going to talk a bit about harmonies. And harmonies can fit in at any point in the song, sometimes in a verse. Maybe if the first verse has just been one vocal part, you'd want to add some in the second verse to keep it interesting. Or in the pre-chorus, if you've got something that might fit over certain words or a full line of that, you can add just another vocal part doing that. For this, we added a sort of effect that sounds like a vocoder over this chorus. So what we did with that was recorded sort of static singing the same notes as the chords, saying the same words that are in the song, following what the chords do to make it sound quite cool. And we've got that in the mix.
So this is the piano playing the chords. So we played it on the piano to sort of work out what each one was going to sing. So this is the piano chords. So then what we've literally done here is we've gone through and just, so the first, this would be the low line here. So we've gone, you know you break me down, I can't get out, but I try to tell me I'm not wasting my time. And then we've done that for each one. We've done that 3 times. So we'll break down now how we've done that. So this is what it sounds like together. The harmonies.
You know you break me down, I can't get out, but I try. Tell me I'm not wasting my time.
So as you can hear, it sounds, again, as Mark said, it sounds like there's an effect on it. And you can get vocoder effects. Sometimes that's what works really well for people. It's quite a common sound right now. It certainly was a few years ago, like Bruno Mars, for example, did it in 24 Karat Magic. But for this, we thought it would be quite cool if we did it manually, so it's a bit clearer what we're saying.
It also means you have more control over what the notes are, because quite a lot of the time, if you're singing the same note over and over again, then that's fine. It'll just copy that and put notes above and below. But if you're doing something that's a full chorus that's changing chords quite a lot, it can be hard to get a vocoder effect to sound as good. So if that doesn't work for you, just make one yourself.
Yeah. Quite often we found that with a lot of vocal stuff. You know, you can spend ages going through different plugins trying to get cool sounds, but actually sometimes nothing beats just recording it, going for it. And even the same applies for, like, we've had little hooks before. There was a track we were working on recently where we were thinking it would have to have a sort of sax type sound, and when we'd been writing it with the girl that we wrote it with, we'd just been going like that to try and make the sort of sound. Imagining later on we would then find a plugin for it. But what we ended up actually doing, we tried a few different things, and we ended up just recorded it, and we just layered making sort of sax type sounds with our mouths, because sometimes that's cool and it's going to sound more original. It's going to sound a bit more different to what people have heard before, because, you know, only you can make your voice sound like you. So the way that we brought this up was this is the middle harmony.
You know you break me down, I can't get out, but I try.
And then we had another higher harmony above that.
You know you break me down, I can't get out, but I try.
And you can hear that they're so tightly edited again. Sounds very electronic, and that was very much a stylistic choice.
They've also got autotune turned on them as well to make them sound even more.
Yeah, we didn't want them to sound like a real person. And then what we've done above that is we've, as we showed earlier on, we've got the high octave.
You know you break me down, I can't get out, but I try.
So that very much sounds like it's been a computer that's done that, which is exactly what we were going for. And then when you add the double and triple track, which are quieter in the mix but taking the lead one out still.
You know you break me down, I can't get out, but I try.
And then finally adding in the lead vocal that's most prominent.
You know you break me down, I can't get out, but I try.
And you can just hear it just brings that chorus to life. So if we compare the a cappella without the vocoder harmonies, this is what it sounds like.
You know you break me down, I can't get out, but I try. Tell me I'm not wasting my time.
So you can see it sounds cool, it does sound full. But then if we put the vocoder sounds in.
You know you break me down, I can't get out, but I try. Tell me I'm not wasting my time, you know.
It just all of a sudden sounds so much more fluent, but it really brings it to life. And it means that it contrasts with that pre, because the verse had no backing vocals and then the pre had the octaves. And then all of a sudden that chorus just really jumps out. So we thought that this sounded really cool. We were pretty chuffed with ourselves with how we got this to sound. And the DJs that we were working on the track with loved it as well. So what we ended up doing, the idea with them was, why don't we just put that at the start? Because as we talked about earlier on, we had a few different ideas. We always try and stick a little hook in at the start of a song to catch the listener's attention. And we'd tried just putting the "Tell Me I'm Not Wasting My Time" line in. And then I can't remember who it was who had the idea of just saying, maybe we should just put the whole chorus in without any instruments and just make it sound like a really interesting start to the song. So what we ended up doing was this. So this is the full a cappella from the final mix. And this is how the song starts, without any instruments.
You know you break me down, I can't get out, but I try. Tell me I'm not wasting my time. I don't.
So you can hear there, it gives a really sort of cool start to the song. Well, we think so anyway. It makes it hopefully sort of stand out, because if it just started with a verse, it's cool, but it's not got that really ear-catching thing, and a lot of that comes from the fact that there's lots of backing vocals and interesting things. And the more you listen to it, the more hopefully there's little things that people will pick out and be like, oh, I didn't know that was there. So yeah, that's basically what we do with Harmonies, and it just depends on the song. So much of it's trial and error and just trying stuff. So what we'll quite often do is we'll loop a little section and try a few different harmony ideas, because sometimes you work it out just doing the third above the melody line or the fifth, and sometimes maybe not. Sometimes we'll try something a little bit more different where it slips between different notes. And yeah, it usually is just literally a case of us both singing stuff until we find what we like and what works.
Yeah.
And then go back and editing it and sort of making little changes. And then editing it really tightly with the tuning and timing so that it sounds really sort of tight and blends nicely together in the mix.